The Chicago Bears absolutely cannot let this happen on Sunday against the Raiders. I'm Harrison Graham. This is Chicago Bears Now. Is Ashton Jeanty poised for a breakout game? Let's hope not, because that could be the difference in who wins or who loses this game, which is a critical one for both teams, as the Bears are 1-2 and the Raiders are 1-2. Jeanty so far has been held in check for the most part, and hopefully the Bears can continue that. And if they do, I like their chances of winning on Sunday. All right, Bears Now, Raiders Report, two of our biggest channels here at Chat Sports. Got to show Mitchell Renz and the boys some love. They're taking it to us early in our subscriber battle this week. If you want free and daily Bears content, if you want to beat the Raiders Report, they almost got us on 100 new subscribers this week. Join the movement. Join the channel. We almost have 131,000 strong. I want to take those boys down. We beat them in subs, beat them on the field. Let's have a hell of a week. All right. Ashton Jeanty so far, raw stats, not very good, right? 3.1 yards per carry, 47 carries for 144 yards. Does have a touchdown, but for the most part, and I've watched a decent amount of the Raiders games, he's not been able to get loose. He has not been able to make a heavy impact on their offense up to this point. And so I was like, okay, let's dive into some deeper analytical numbers and see if there's more context. He is third worst in the NFL with negative 53 yards over expected. And we're going to get to a definition in a second of what that stat is. It's from Next Gen Stats. But basically, he's left 53 yards on the table in terms of what he was expected to get. A lot of guys are in the positives. Like, just to throw a number at you, Jonathan Taylor's at 61 yards over expected. David Montgomery actually leads the NFL, I think, at 112. That 70-yard run or whatever the other day probably, juiced that number a little bit. But regardless, negative 53, third worst in the NFL. DeAndre Swift, by the way, negative 100-something last year. Worst in the league, just throwing that out there. I think he's minus 21 so far this year. It's definitely not good, but not as bad as Ashton Jeanty in that specific stat. Now, here is how this statistic is defined. Rushing yards over expected measures how many more yards a running back gains on a play that a typical player would gain in the same situation using factors like game situation, field position, and offensive/defensive schemes to establish a, quote, expected outcome. It essentially quantifies how much a player outperforms or underperforms the average expectation on a given carry or series of carries. So in that area, he's off to a pretty poor start. The raw stats say that, and he's leaving opportunities out there when it comes to getting more positive yards up to this point in his career. It's 3 games. It's early. I still think he's a very talented player, and I think he's going to be a good player in this league. So does Ben Johnson. Here's what he had to say, the Bears head coach. He said he's a phenomenal player. He said, I thought the world of him coming out of college. He's a hard guy to bring down. He's compact yet powerful. You better have low pad level when you tackle this guy, or else he's going to lower his shoulder and run you over. That's something he actually has done a few times. More on that in a second. Johnson continues. He's got that mentality. He brought it with him from college. You see it in the first 3 games of the season so far. He's fearless. If he sees a little bit of air, he steps on the gas. He plays violently. He's a guy we are certainly aware of, and we have to do the best we can to bottle him up. And look, let's be honest. I don't know what kind of career Ashton Jeanty's going to have, but he's going to break out eventually. He's going to have a good game. And it's the Bears' job to make sure that this isn't that game. Now, does that mean you have to hold them to 3 yards per carry or less? No, but it needs to be better than what your rushing defense has been so far. You're 26th in rushing yards per game allowed at 139.3 per contest. Yards per carry, 5.5. That's my major concern. Jeanty's averaging 3.1. Bears defense giving up 5.5. So I guarantee you the Raiders are looking at that and saying, hey, this is an opportunity to get Jeanty going. 3 touchdowns is 18th in the NFL, so kind of middle of the pack in terms of finding pay dirt. But that middle category there, 31st, second to last in the NFL in yards per carry allowed. And it's not like it's inflated by QB running stats. You face Jared Goff in week 2 and Dak Prescott in week 3. J.J. McCarthy had a couple runs, but nothing crazy. They've gotten pretty gashed by opposing running backs up to this point in the season. What is your confidence level in slowing down Ashton Jeanty? Scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you're not confident at all, 10 being you're very confident. I don't know, 5. I think the Bears can do a decent job, but I am guessing he will average more than his average on the season so far, which is 3.1. If you could keep him under 4, that would be a huge success because you gave up 5.5, or you're giving up 5.5 so far this year. All right, today's show is sponsored by Brunt, the best working boots out there are from Brunt. This is the Marin boot specifically. Big fan of these. Choosing work boots used to mean sacrificing comfort or durability. If they felt good, they didn't last. And if they lasted, they wrecked your feet. Brunt thought that was BS, so they built tough boots that feel great from day one. As a homeowner, there's always projects around the house to work on, and Brunt's boots are no doubt the most comfortable work boots I've ever worn, and they felt comfortable right out of the box. But they're not just comfortable. They're built to perform. They're built to last. Whether you need waterproof safety toe, soft toe, pull on, or lace up, they've got options that can handle whatever job site you're walking into. Before I found Brunt, I can't tell you how many different working boots I tried and went through. I was always left with foot pain, blisters, and they just didn't last that long. They didn't deliver the overall performance that Brunt does. Right now, for a limited time, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's bruntworkwear.com. Use code CHAT. You're good to go. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work way too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So they built something better, boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. So again, take advantage for a limited time. Our listeners get $10 off at Brunt with code CHAT at checkout. Workwear.com. Use the code CHAT. You're good to go. After you order, they'll ask where you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor. Tell them we sent you. Bears Now by Chat Sport. The link and promo code are in the description and comments of this video. Okay, here is an interesting stat from Ashton Jeanty. It's not all bad. So I showed you earlier. He's got 144 yards rushing on the season. 145 of those are after contact. That's pretty fascinating. What does that tell you? He's getting hit in the backfield a lot, and he's falling forward, and that was a big strength of his coming out. Contact balance, his ability to finish runs, 101% of his rushing yards have come after contact. So what gives? Why is he negative 53 yards and rushing yards over expected? Like, what's the issue here? Well, a couple of things that stand out to me in that regard. Number one, the offensive line is struggling. Now, rushing yards over expected does kind of factor in like our holes getting created, the offensive line play, so on and so forth. So it's not completely that, but that's probably playing a role. He's probably hesitating a little behind that line. It has not held up that well this year outside of Colton Miller. And number two, maybe he's not hitting the hole right. Maybe he is his vision's been a little suspect early on in the season. Rookie player, jittery. They're putting a lot on his plate. It's possible he's just not, following the play design properly. That's certainly a possibility as well. So I looked at the Raiders' offensive line. They have not graded out that well in run blocking. Colton Miller's been solid, but Dylan Parham's not been very great. Jordan Meredith's been fine. I put Jackson Powers-Johnson in there. Alex Kappa's actually played more than him at right guard, but when JPJ has played, he hasn't been great either. Mitchell Renz, our Raiders host, thinks JPJ will start this week, so I put him in there. Kappa hasn't graded out well either. DJ Glaze, 54.5 as well. Like I said, Kappa's been the primary right guard, but regardless, whoever's been there has not played that well. The point being is I don't think they've done that good of a job, so that certainly leads to some of the reasons that Jeanty's having to, create something out of nothing, which is something he has done pretty well so far. So got to tackle well. Like Ben Johnson said, pad level is going to be important. Pete Carroll said this week about the Raiders' offensive line play and running game as a whole. He said, we're working on some stuff. We want to see Jackson Powers-Johnson come back into action, get back involved. We have to, in all phases of it, we've got to get off the football better and make more of the running game. And he kind of went on to talk about the play-action game hasn't been there because of the running game. Now, it's kind of a myth, but, I think there's a little truth to that, even if some of the data doesn't always support that. And I think as a result of the running game not being successful, you're seeing a lot of second and third and longs. And Geno Smith, who's already got a little bit of that gunslinger mentality, I think he's been forcing some throws. If you watch the Chargers game in week 2, he forced several and got burned for it, including a late pick in the end zone that essentially ended the game where a field goal would have at least cut it to a one-score game. against LA. At times in Seattle, they had run game issues, especially last year, and he threw 16 interceptions a year ago. So, at times you get him into these third and long situations, he'll take chances, and you got to make him pay, which is why it's critical to stop Ashton Jeanty. He's already got 4 picks in three games this year, so he's letting it rip. The accuracy's been a little bit down compared to his last few years. So if you're Chicago, coming off a 4-turnover game for the defense, if you can keep Ashton Jeanty in check, which I think has got to be priority number 1 for this defense, you're going to get some opportunities to take the football away. And you got to take advantage when Geno gives you a chance or two. They did that last week when Dak gave you a couple chances. Tremaine Edmonds made the plays, so you got to be able to do so again. Geno's going to give you at least one. He's going to give you at least one a game that you need to cash in on. And if you do, you're going to be in a good position to win this game because we know how critical takeaways are. All right, predict the score. Bears, Raiders, who you got, and what is the final score going to be? I predicted Bears 28-20 in our preview episode. I'll stick with that for now. Give us your predictions down in the comment section below. My name is Harrison Graham. We will be live this afternoon on Chicago Bears Now here on this channel. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you get notified when we go live. We will see you then. Bear down.